It's a fist, yeah. What's this made of? Quartzite.
Yep.
Like monstrous big blocks like this, which typically you sort of see in places like the Valley Temple. This is very reminiscent of architecture that they attribute to the Old Kingdom. Giant thumb fist hand.
So who's this?
Who do you think?
Ramses II?
But the stone came from the Red Mountain, north of Cairo. So we're, what, 600 miles, 600 kilometers from Cairo? And you had to bring a 1,500 ton block of this stuff that was quarried and bring it upriver, so against the current of the river, and bring it to here to Karnak. And there's multiple of these, it looks like. We just saw another one over there. So this was a standing statue. The standing statues were standing with their arms down by their side, and they're holding that thing out there. So this was a straight arm. Think of the logistics involved in moving 1,000 tons upriver, 600 miles, and crafting a single piece statue that stood probably 100 feet tall with perfectly smoothed over like composite quartzite. I guess they just tried really hard. I don't know, the people that think this is nonsense is just, I don't think you understand logic.
Why don't you pick that rock?
Yeah. What's interesting is when they pulled up the floor here, where these column bases are, what did they find? They found a deeper layer of column bases. Yeah, and this one is also probably one of the best, and this is 100% a circular saw out here. Because you can actually see the profile of it here. Look at this.
Look at this beautiful fragment of a statue, and anybody can come and add a name here, or at the shoulders, or at the braces, as the normal thing for what happened when somebody reused, repurposed, or usurped the statue.
Yeah.
And then there's a second floor on top.
Yeah.
That is just...
Yeah, look at that. Like you can see there's a whole another layer, like another column on top of this column, and then the cross beams. There, this is huge, huge granite. I mean, it's a flat face. It's like an obelisk that's been knocked down and carved. It's just...
These saw cuts running all the way up there.
It is, it does look like part of the design.
Into the corner here.
But yeah, you have this.
But it still looks like a power tool that is being hand guided. You can see how it kind of wavers.
It does waver, yeah. And this thing is the largest obelisk still standing. I'm gonna guess somewhere in the realm of 400 tons, maybe more. But it's monstrous. It's a friggin' 9-10 inch tube drill. The lip, so this little indent lip here and here, so you get an indication for just how thin the tooltip was. Welcome back to UnchartedX. This is Ben, and I hope everyone out there is doing well. Video I've got for you today is another one of these walk and talk videos where I am essentially visiting one of these amazing ancient sites and kind of giving you my thoughts in real time as we walk around and take a look at the various features and architecture, in this case at Karnak Temple, which is, I think, the world's largest ancient temple complex. It's one of the most amazing sites that you'll find in ancient Egypt, and it's 100% a must-see location if you ever find yourself on a tour or a trip through Egypt. In this case, we visited Karnak Temple pretty early in the morning, somewhere around 6:30 a.m. It's something that I had always wanted to do, as once I learned that the temple was open that early, it's always a good chance to go and get there before the crowds turn up, which usually happens around 9-10 o'clock. This visit to Karnak was part of my most recent tour through ancient Egypt, which was back in March of 2025. Along with several of the tour attendees who decided to get up early and come with us to the site, I'm also joined by my good friends Yusuf Aoun as well as Kyle Allen, and they'll get on the second microphone that I have, and we'll be discussing a lot of the features and architecture that you'll see here at Karnak. And yes, if you were on YouTube at the time, I did actually live stream this visit, but the audio was... let's just say fairly scuffed. I think I had set the microphone sensitivities down pretty low, and I think some people struggled with the audio. However, I've fixed it. I said during that live stream with the audio issues that I would fix this and re-upload it. So here it is, and I hope you enjoy it. We did hit all of the real highlights that you can see at Karnak Temple during this hour or so of footage, although there is plenty more to see there. You could spend literally days at at Karnak is just acres and acres and acres of stonework and architecture. It's amazing. After we enter the site and take a look at some of the building techniques that are used in the New Kingdom, we head out the back to the open-air museum and the crystal or alabaster chapels. These things are quite amazing. They've been reconstructed and repaired, but they still show some just astonishing tool marks. From there, we'll proceed through the Hypostyle Hall, which is just amazing evidence for the actual work that the dynastic Egyptians did do on this temple. And in this area, we'll also see several more just excellent examples of advanced tooling and stonework, again being made into really hard stone like granite. After visiting the core of the site, we head out to some of the less visited parts of Karnak Temple, really out the back there to the edges of it, but it shows some just really interesting evidence for older and significantly more advanced structures that were originally in place. And then we finish our visit by heading into the boneyard, which is just, you know, again, acres of these fragmented stone pieces, but in there we can find the remnants of these just monstrous 1,000-ton single-piece stone statues. I hope you enjoy this walk through Karnak Temple. Cheers.
I think I fixed it. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Well, we are here. If I can press the button. Shit. Oh, God. Wrong button, Ben. Oh, man. I'll work this out, people. I swear to God. There we go. So, yeah, I'm here at Karnak Temple. Hello, yes, fixed. Look at this. Hopefully the bandwidth's decent. But we get the opportunity here to come in at like 6 a.m. You'd be amazed how many people turn up at 6 a.m. Egypt at the moment is heaving, but this is Karnak Temple. It's really cool. Live from Florida. Late night in Florida, huh? See if we can catch up with my group. So what's cool about this part of Karnak is at the solstice you get the sun rises and sits right on top of that little pylon right at the bottom there. That's the solstice alignment of this. Let's talk to some scammers. I'm sure we'll get the chance. Maybe not in the temple. There's not so much in the temple, but yeah. Oh, here we go. Look at this. You're in Aswan? Cool. Hey, boys. Are they just down there? Yeah, yeah. All the ram-headed sphinxes here. And of course, this is the... Do you think these buildings are original? I mean, yeah. These are... So the sandstone, these are massive sandstone pylons. So as with several of these temples, I think, I mean, this is all dynastic work, right? These sandstone pylons that you see, but they're, you know, it's done in the New Kingdom, but I think it's done, you know, built around the granite core of the site, which we'll go and see. But Karnak's massive, so we'll take our time coming in here, and we'll find Yusuf and mic him up too. At some point, he's going to be guiding. The rest of the group will get here about 8 o'clock, another 2 hours from now. But yeah, she's a spectacular temple in the early morning. But these huge sandstone pylons and these sandstone columns you see here are all, I mean, they're built with blocks of sandstone, and then they're shaped down. This is cool too. I always like this. We've got Carl here. Say hi.
Howdy, howdy.
And so this is nice because this is actually remnants of a mud brick ramp. Like, look at this. You can see they were using mud bricks to work on this pylon. And there's actually something really cool over here. I think Yusuf's going to show them. But you get an ancient snake. Yes, they are talking to you. Who just stole your wallet? My wallet is secure. Thank you very much. It's not my first rodeo, yo. No, it was a temple. It was definitely not a city center. It's a temple. You couldn't get in here unless you were part of the priesthood. But this over here in the corner is really interesting because this shows you kind of how they built these columns, right? So there's a big difference between the single piece granite columns and the dynastic, or what I would call the New Kingdom columns, right? So this is, you see all these columns are blocks of sandstone, and they show you how they did it because this one's unfinished. So they would stack these rounds and these half blocks of sandstone up, then they would shave them down, and you'd end up with this shape here, which is an imitation of the single piece granite columns that we have examples of. But still, I mean, these blocks up top, they're huge. It's a real achievement from the dynastic Egyptians. Let's go see what Yusuf's got to say. But yeah, Karnak itself is massive. They're busily restoring some of the statues over here. What stones are these little ones in front of? So these are, I think these look like recreations to me. They look like just small bits of originals, but these are the ram-headed sphinxes. They're probably made from either sandstone or limestone. Let's have a look. Did Yusuf say what these were? These like these weren't here before. This is just like they're making these to try and restore the Sphinx Avenue or something. I mean, these don't look original. Oh, some of them might be. Like small parts of them might be original. Then you've just got.
Those heads are original.
I think the heads are original. Yeah. Yeah, so you have like, what is it, 3.8 kilometers of the Sphinx Avenue. I know there's the ram-headed sphinxes at one end and the regular sphinxes at the other that connect Karnak Temple to Luxor Temple. And it's all lined with these sort of things. It was poured sandstone, yeah, okay.
Poured sandstone.
The geopolymer crew is representing. Volume is so low. Okay. Is this better? Well, tell me, is it louder now if I talk into it directly? All right, I'll try to keep it up here, right on my face. So this is an interesting block too. This is a just a massive, massive work block of white calcite, or alabaster basically. It has some interesting tooling marks on it in different spots. There's one huge cube of white calcite. This is probably, I would say, original part of the site for sure. And then you have the restoration work that's happening currently. So they're busily recreating and repairing these statues. Yeah, cheers. I'm glad you guys can enjoy it. And then if you look down here, you can see one of the two obelisks still standing. And they're putting up some of these large granite statues. And they've been working on it for a while. This one's under wraps, but I've seen them working on this, and you'd be amazed. They're trying to hoist up chunks of these statues. And it's just, yeah. You can see how difficult it is to work in bits of stone like this. Head jet. So parts of a head jet here. You also have chunks from obelisks, like big obelisks. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they did it. There's some big stuff here, like there's a 1,000-ton statue here. There is obviously the obelisk and the granite core all over the place. This is interesting. This is a tip of one of the granite obelisks. And it has the small drill holes in here. That there was something, I think there was something inset into here at some point, like metal, maybe. You have them on this end as well. See what Yusuf's saying, huh? I'll tell you what. I'm going to add the second mic in here, and we'll mic Yusuf up and let him do some guiding for a minute, well, for you guys, and we'll stick with him.
have the name on the belt. Maybe they recycled it before the time of Ramses II.
You clip this to you somewhere?
Sure.
Yeah. One-handed clip job. All right, there you go.
Yeah. The bases of pillars over there in the back, the two rounded pieces of stones, are bases of pillars made from white calcite crystal. Like the block that we saw, like the cube we saw in the entrance. And usually, if you have the base from white calcite crystal, then the column as well was done from white calcite crystal. When we wander around Karnak, we find the remnants of the ancient structure that were all created from the same combination of stones like the pyramid builders, white calcite crystal, quartzite, granite, and we even have traces of milky quartz.
More unfinished columns over there too, in the corner. This is super interesting. And you guys let me know if you can hear Yusuf, you should be able to.
Look at this beautiful fragment of a statue, and anybody can come and add a name here, or at the shoulders, or at the braces, as the normal thing for what happened when somebody reused, repurposed, or usurped the statue. They don't like the term usurped now in Egyptology. Even that the old school is the one that created this phrase originally. If you take something that doesn't belong to you and you remove the old name and put your name, that doesn't called reuse, it's called usurping.
Yeah, so it's a...
No inscriptions in the back as well.
Yeah, like all those statues at Karnak that we saw, or at Luxor. You see they all have they had the belt line inscribed and down here, and this is just an example of one that Ramses never got to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. If the, hopefully the volume, I mean, I don't know, I'll look at it later, but you can just have to turn it up for now, I guess. Oh, good. No, I was just saying that, just pointing out that the lack of hieroglyphs there. So.
Yeah. And the open air museum was created by
Assalamu alaikum.
the French archaeologists that worked here found that these materials of these white chapels from calcite
Thanks, Mel.
repurposed in building some of the pylons. So they dismantled it and rebuilt some of them here, like the white chapels and the red chapel over there also for the Queen Hatshepsut. They used to charge an extra ticket for it, but not anymore. Now, okay. Yeah.
Special price. Special price for the special ticket. It's all rebuilt, right? So these are the original white calcite and then concrete.
So even the French archaeologists know about Ramses the Great, that he used to take the stuff and reuse it. So you can see the inscriptions in this one. The whole piece of stone is rotated clockwise, because of course these feet and the names of Ramses II should, if you want to read it right or look at it right, it has to rotate once anti-clockwise like that, so you can see it. So they knew that this piece belonged to this chapel. As you can see, the ceiling and the inscription here on the lower part of it is reading Akhib Rura', which is also another name for Tutmosis. Then Ramses II again. So these were, and we will see other examples of repurposing these materials like granite and huge blocks of white calcite in different parts of the temple. We have also here another chapel that goes back to the Middle Kingdom, King Senusert. This is part of a chapel of the Queen Hatshepsut in Karnak. And this was a great construction that was done here during the Middle Kingdom time. You can see the name Khipper Kara, and this is the coronation name of King Senusert. Here we can see that Amun Ra became popular already during the Middle Kingdom time. And notice the fine details of everything that is carved by hand in these glyphs, like all the details of the serpents, the vulture, the feathers of the vulture, and even the details of the feather of the vulture is created. So also the French archaeologists are working on trying to gather more and more of the pieces and try to rebuild the chapels and the parts of the temples that was here before. صباح الفل. A millstone, as we can see, all this is the normal repurposing. It used to be part of the ancient temple, and then it was inscribed at once. As we can see, this is part of the shoulder. This is he is giving something to the gods. You know, you have seen many of these scenes already. And then it was recycled and used as millstone. You know that they made the great obelisks from single solid pieces, not for symbolic reasons. The Egyptologists, they found that there is documentation. Of course, there is the dedication to the god Amun-Ra, even though that the obelisk is supposed to be another form of the Benben. So if it's a Benben, it's supposed to be related to Atum-Ra. But Amun was now the main party, the main religious party, religious political party that ruled over everything. So everything became dedicated to Amun-Ra. But they translated the inscriptions also, and they found out that the kings of the New Kingdom documented on it their victory in the battlefields. So they said the obelisks were erected and inscribed to document the victories in the battlefields. So they understood the function through translating the writings. But the other functionality, we used to hit on one of the obelisks that was laying down, and we could hear it singing like this.
Yeah, those things
So
sings, yeah.
this is the reason behind why it was created from a single solid piece. It resonated like a tuning fork. Also, the peak of them used to be encased with electrum or gold, and they found many of those with the electrum still attached to them.
Yeah, these do
in
look like
Heliopolis.
crucibles, don't they?
And we have documentations that some of the Arabs used to tie them with ropes and knock them down so they can just take the electrum and sell it. Hundreds of these sekhmets were found in the Temple of Mut,
Greetings.
and has another sacred lake around it. They are inscribed by also different names of kings.
We'll
from
get to the
New
megalithic
Kingdom.
stuff. There's some tool marks over here that are interesting, though. I can talk if you want to.
Go ahead.
Actually, did you want to look at the red chapel first, or we'll just go to these?
Let's head to these.
All right.
They have seen. Then we can give them time at the.
Yeah. So these are the white calcite chapels, I guess is the term for them.
Yeah.
That Yusuf was describing, but I mean they've been reassembled potentially more than once, and they've certainly been inscribed. But these, do we know that the inscriptions are these New Kingdom inscriptions on this? Yeah. They've been inscribed, but these massive chunks of white calcite, of course white calcite being one of the stones that we typically see with the megalithic builders, along with granite and limestone, they do show signs of power tool markings actually. In the finish, on the actual surface, it's that same sort of really polished, smooth surface that you find. But if you look closely at these chapels, you find other evidence for the same sort of tool marks that we've seen in other places, tube drills and saw cuts, like the basalt floor cuts. It's the same technology and tool marks that we find with the pyramid builders. So here's a good example. So down here, this is, you can pretty clearly see like a circular, it's basically a circular saw. It could be a straight saw because this is concrete at the very bottom. We don't really know how far the tool goes, but you can see exactly the line that this made, right? It's busted out, like this is all broken out, but you can see the groove, the tool marking groove from this cut that dips down into this stone. And there's a bunch more on these little chapels that you can see.
This used to be one piece.
Down here on this corner, there's another one. So right down here, you have another saw cut, very well defined, like cut, either a circular saw cut or a straight. I suspect this is very much a circular saw cut, just as it dips in. And like, you know, at the basalt pavement, at the pyramid, you have evidence of both circular saw cuts and straight saw cuts, but they all seem to be just cutting through this material at a really high rate. And in fact, you actually see them in the inside edges in here as well. Look at this. Seeing this? And all the way up here. So in particular in here, I'm just trying to get the stream in on it. So yeah, you can literally see the width of the tool and how it's penetrated into this. Like it's an overcut. Like this is probably what they were going for up here, the more defined radius. But as they were cutting this out, they just dipped the saw in a little too far. So you have this defined saw cut that runs here, and then it runs down here. And I don't know if it's the same on the other side. I don't think so. Up the top there, maybe.
There's one here.
Yeah, we showed him this one. Yeah, and this one is also probably one of the best. And this is 100% a circular saw out here. Because you can actually see the profile of it here. Look at this. You can literally see the diameter of it. This looks to me like this is a saw that's been run straight down this calcite. And then again here, you actually have another couple little cuts here just to see the width of the blade. So, I mean, this isn't the result of the hand pounding or grinding or copper chisels. It's a saw. And it's just not a grinding methodology. You don't get these results with it.
Huh?
So again, this is when I categorize stuff, where I don't say everything's like this. I'm careful about what I say isn't in the ancient Egyptians' toolbox or is beyond their capability. It's machining is one of them. So these are examples of machine. So by machining, I mean the tools and what's the term that Chris Dunn uses to describe it? Just the witness marks. It's the witness marks from tools and methods that really aren't in. We've never found those tools. We've never seen those techniques in the ancient Egyptian toolbox. So that sort of machining, I think, is indicative of it. Then you've got all of the stuff about precision, symmetry, the vases. That's measured precision, and then logistics. So that was again like that 1,000-ton statue we saw yesterday at the Ramesseum, and we'll see another one over here. And really anything in my mind that is exceeding, say, 200, 250 tons, I think is going to be a real challenge to move without significant technology, leverage, force multipliers, stuff like that. I think there might be a couple marks on the other chapel here too.
The walls are single solid pieces.
Yeah,
Originally.
super impressive the fact that just this, what Yusuf's saying is that this literal whole wall was a single solid piece of white calcite. And again, white calcite comes from the cores of natural springs, like the sources of natural springs that dried up millions of years ago. And because the further you get from that source or the core of a natural spring, you start to get yellow and brown calcite, you get different coloration. But you can see from just the beautiful coloring of this stone, this was a very high quality piece of calcite.
The most pure form.
Yeah, the most pure form of calcite. Yeah.
We can also mention something about the stone patches.
Do you want to go on? You can go
Yeah.
when you're ready.
Just a brief thing. The most misinforming story out there is the story of geopolymer.
Yeah.
How you think they want to find a way that the stone is not natural and they molded it and this is how they done it with ease. There is no such a thing. And here we have the nature of this stone will usually have pockets of crystal. Some parts will have, the empty parts of crystallization with the peak in the inside of the stone. So we cannot know. You can see a clean surface like that, but once you start to go deeper, you will find these pockets. So the ancient Egyptians had a way to fix this, which is these stone patches, as we can see here. There are many of them here. And here, there used to be other ones, but they fell. So how did they do it? They emptied the whole pocket out and then made another patch and attached it into the stone. And we have this in many cases. Sometimes it is created in granite as well.
Thank you, Christopher. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Yeah. We can still see the hinges with the copper that used to have the door. We don't know where were these originally located. But we know that
YouTube
they
live
were
chat
actually
spices
cut
over.
into smaller pieces in order to recycle it. But they are originally here. We can see that it was actually the geologic order of it shows that the entire wall used to be
This is for you, chat.
single solid piece. Again, of course, the battle against
That's
Amon
the
Ra
special for
by
you
the
guys.
priests of Akhenaten is behind the defacing of the depictions of some of the scenes of Amon Ra.
Hey, look at this. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very much. Yes, this is like the shrines with the bull noses, I mean, this is actually amazing to think that this is actually a single piece too. Like they carved all this from a single piece, and had these bull noses on it, so they had to like reduce the walls down. They had to
So
cut the
look-
walls all the way
look at the
down
ceiling,
to the
for
level of the
example.
bull, like from the out here
You
to
will still
here.
see that the veins of the calcite is the same one. It's the same geologic order.
Part of the
So you know
slum.
that this, from here to here, used to be one piece. They broke them to smaller pieces in order to reuse the material, but then the French rejoined it once again.
Yeah. Yeah, the French. When was this put back together?
Not long ago, the French were still working in the last decade.
Last decade. Okay. Recent. Very good. If you want a bigger one of those, there's a big one outside. So, this is some happy dudes in this chapel, I'll admit. Hey, look, it's another submarine. All right. Might walk over to the Hypostyle Hall here, take chat with me. And we'll film Kyle filming the chapel. Did you want to roll over to like the Hypostyle Hall or something and the granite part? You can put this on, you can chat about it if you want, man. All right, we're mic'd up with Kyle, I think.
Hello, hello.
Now, if you do like some of these topics, things like ancient hardstone vessels, which is, as you probably know, a subject that I cover in depth on this channel, and if you happen to be in the New York area in the near future here, on June 28th, we're going to be putting on a very specific vase-oriented event at the remarkable Explorers Club in downtown Manhattan. Tickets for this event are pretty limited as it's a small venue, so please do check out the link if you're interested. From 4 p.m. till 8 p.m. and over drinks and snacks, we'll have several speakers talking vases, myself included, as well as having actual real vases at the event that you can take a look at. We'll also have plenty of time for discussion and Q&A. Earlier in the day, if you're interested, we are also taking people through a guided tour of the nearby New York Metropolitan Museum. And between that and the vase event later that evening, it promises to be a good time. So please do check out the link to the event page below if you're interested. Also, the week before this vase event, on the weekend of June 20th, I'll be speaking at the Cosmic Summit Conference in Greensboro, North Carolina, along with a host of other great presenters. And again, all of the details are on the Cosmic Summit webpage, which is linked below. And lastly, just a quick heads up that I do have a couple more tours on the books now. I'm finally putting on my first Peru and Bolivia tour, which is happening later this year. It's pretty much close to being sold out. It pretty much just sold out through my patrons and the people who get early access to these things. However, there is a wait list, and if you're interested, the URL is unchartedx.com/2025 Peru 2. And again, that link is below if you're interested. And then also, I'm going back to Egypt. So in December of this year, 2025, I'll be joining Yusuf Awan on his annual Primordial Egypt tour. And again, all of the details for this are on my website. It's unchartedx.com/primordial. This isn't my regular, the UnchartedX tour. I am planning one of those, and I will be putting that on probably in the February-March timeframe of 2026. That's the one that the Snake Bros join us on. We do a lot of jamming. It's got more special permissions. It's a bit longer than the Primordial tour, that type of thing. All right, all the business being done, I hope you enjoy this walk through Karnak Temple. Cheers.
Smoking on Ben's live stream.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah,
so much for fasting.
Yeah, well,
Quitting the smoking.
we all quit.
Yeah.
We all quit vapes, we quit smokes months in advance, and then as soon as we got here, damn it. So Mo, we're currently walking with about 700 people at the other end of this camera.
700?
700, something like that. Yeah. So
The people, you make that live.
yeah, we're live.
Hello.
This is Mo. If ever you want to tour Egypt, this is the man to go with.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Select Egypt.
Thank you, motherfucker.
She's a smoky all day. I don't know. Well, they're burning the cane. Is that what the smoke's from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time for cleaning with the sugar cane.
Mm-hmm. So what I want to tackle you lot too is some of the granite core of the site before it becomes heaving with people, which it will. So we can probably walk over the back here.
Man, that's a lot of tea. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
It's in the temple.
Yeah. So these scratch marks in the temple are all are basically people sampling. They're like, because it's, the house of the gods or whatever, they scratch it out. Hey, $10, man. Who was that from? I can't see it. Sorry, but thank you so much for the $10. So they would scratch out the sandstone and they'd add it to tea or water and drink it as some sort of medicine and magic potion kind of thing. But they did a lot of it. You can see here, because of course people were living on this temple until they cleared them out. What, like 100-ish years ago? Luxor Temple, Karnak Temple, people just living here. And about to enter what I think is one of the most amazing achievements of the New Kingdom, which is this sandstone Hypostyle Hall here. It's actually just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, every time.
Every time.
Every time. Look at this thing. It's actually incredible. Like, this is dynastic work. These sandstone pylons and all the walls on the side and these huge columns, all made from blocks of sandstone, but amazingly impressive. In fact, this is the low end too. We're going to walk into where the high end is here in the middle. He's tree hugging.
Just hug the reconstruction. Yeah.
Just hug the concrete, hugging the actual geopolymer here.
Yeah, this is just insane.
Yeah, it is.
These blocks that span the tops of the columns are also just enormous. Like there's one of them laying down on the ground somewhere. I'm not sure if it's
Yeah, I'm not sure where either.
here, but it's you walk up to it, it's like, oh my God, how did they get that up there?
Yeah.
And then there's a second floor on top.
Yeah.
That is just
Yeah, look at that. Like you can see there's a whole another layer, like another column on top of this column and then the cross beams. It's insane. Like I do like this shot. You guys should, I mean, this Google Fi, they're saying it's like HD, the quality is excellent.
Man.
So, yeah, I mean, it's spectacular. And having the colors still here, even though, I mean, all of this is New Kingdom, you're still talking 1500 BC or thereabouts, so 3,500 years old, and you still have yellows and colors. Yeah, you used to live there? So you have the closed papyrus or the closed flower at the top, and then you have the larger columns have like the open, where the lotus flower is opening. And you
This one is just beautiful, like still painted and everything.
Yeah, look
just
at this one.
fanned
It's
out.
insane.
Awesome.
We'll do a little loop-de-loop. Copper chisels, mate. It's sandstone. You can work it with copper chisels. So even, what is it, 7 o'clock in the morning? Past 7?
Yeah, 7:30.
7:30. It's already starting to fill up. And give this another hour or two, and it's just going to be heaving in here. So I want to
Get over to that.
yeah, show you guys a couple things that are really interesting in this part of the temple. So this is like what I would call the granite core. See the same thing at Luxor, where it's you know, this sandstone infrastructure is built up around a granite core that very much matches, you know, the Old Kingdom granite, which is also probably older, but they do go back to the Old Kingdom. They're all attributed to it. And of course, partially part of that includes these obelisks that are here.
I think these bases for other obelisks.
Yeah,
the
that was-
diagram they showed 4 of them sitting out here. I think
This
was
might
it
be
3 or 4?
Yeah, so this is a huge base for one. This might be chunks of one here.
Yeah, there. Yeah. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, this is huge, huge granite. I mean, it's a flat face. It's like an obelisk that's been knocked down and carved. It's just big piece of one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wiped out on every other side.
Yeah. So yeah, we see the fragments of many obelisks here, but you have one standing here, and then we have the big one around the corner here that we'll go look at. It's of course carved, and this is you can talk about this Hatshepsut obelisk a lot. It's carved and it's dedicated to Hatshepsut.
You can come here from here. You can see the old one, the old temple.
Yeah, from
I mean,
here.
From here, the old one. It's all what you have, just production is new. You build the after.
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know?
So Mo's saying that yeah, this is the old temple, the granite temple, and the new temple is like back here. And you can even see this column's not
Oh,
finished.
wow.
I didn't even notice this
I've
before.
never noticed that either.
Yeah, so these two
Is that all
massive columns.
reconstructed though? Look at the mortar.
Yeah.
I think they reconstructed those whole columns.
I don't know. I don't remember those.
Yeah. I mean, the blocks look old.
Yeah, they do.
The mortar might be new. Maybe they put it all back together. It's a good effort if they did. Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, you can see how high these pylons were. They ran up and over here. Yeah, I hear that about the volume. Don't worry, I'll fix it next time. I can't really stop and play with the microphones right now, so apologies. I will try and boost the audio later for the replay. And you can see it just keeps going too. Like see how far Karnak goes out there. Like there's more pylons and gates that direction and this direction.
Here, let me just move your mic up closer.
All right. So hopefully that's better. Move it way up closer.
Yeah.
And there are some interesting, so there's definitely some circular saw marks on one of these obelisks up here, as well as a big old tube drill, which we'll go and look at, one of my favorites. Did they cement up this tube drill? No, that's not it.
There's some
Where is that?
there's some saw cuts on these,
The saw cuts? No,
on
no,
these
there's a
columns
tube
here.
drill here as well.
but these are like saw
Right
cuts
here.
that are part of the design. They're not overcuts.
These?
These here,
Yeah, so this here is,
these saw cuts running all the way up there
it does look like part
and
of the
into
design.
into the corner here.
But yeah, you have this.
I feel like that's someone who wants to cut it because from the highest here, then come here this side.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not really perfect.
No, it's not perfect.
Someone here try cut it.
Let's see this.
But it still looks like a power tool that is being hand guided. You can see how it kind of
Yeah,
wavers.
exactly.
It zigzags.
It does waver, yeah. But it's like, I don't know how you achieve this with a grinding or any other method than something that's like a saw that's cutting through the granite. It's not dipping super deep, like it's,
Yeah, look. I mean,
you can
it's
see
polished,
you can see the profile of it here, yeah.
and it is highly polished right in here. So like, if whatever's doing the work is it's polishing it at the same time.
Well, maybe it is grinding, I don't know. So you see that on that side of this thing, and then there's a nice tube drill. That's a fairly decent sized one.
I was gonna see if I had a light.
A light? Yeah, I mean somewhere. I lost mine. I had that little light, that pocket
Here.
light. Yeah, there you go, you got it. Yeah, so you can still see at the back end of that, you can see the lip and the top left corner of it. You can see the lip from the edge of the tube drill, and you can see how that granite core was snapped off in there. I'm not seeing a lot of striations in there, but there's some, I can see some markings, but I think it's, you know, these things are functional and there's something turning in them. I mean, it's just, you know, it's going to polish it out eventually. Because obviously they were drilling the holes for a reason. Do you want to go look at the obelisk? I just wanted to see that real quick and we'll go back
I
to
always like to look at obelisks.
Look at obelisks. And this thing is the largest obelisk still standing. I'm going to guess somewhere in the realm of 400 tons, maybe more. But it's monstrous. And so, you know, the glyphs on this is where the whole 9-month story for like quarrying the obelisk, the unfinished obelisk, comes from, because part of the writing and inscriptions on this thing say that it took them, I think it was 9 months to finish it, or 6 months or something. And so people, like archaeologists, tend to take that figure and say, well, that means that they quarried it, shipped it, stood it up, and finished it inside of 9 months. I don't think you can do it. I mean, there's been guys like Engelbright at the quarry who tried to use that figure to justify like a stone removal rate based on how many people you could sit in next to the unfinished obelisk at Aswan, and it just doesn't make sense. Like the removal rate you come up with, because you can only put so many people in around that space, was some just ridiculously high rate, because there have been tests done about how long the pound, you know, because of course they say it's all pounding stones, how long it takes to remove that stone by pounding is it's literally like 100, 200 times faster than the best rate achieved by guys who were testing it by pounding for 10 minutes, taking a rest, pounding for 10 minutes. So you're getting an optimal rate versus, you know, just sitting there all day, 8 hours a day pounding. You're not going to go as fast as measuring a 10-minute period, taking a break, measuring another 10-minute period, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's insane. So what I think that figure means, if it's written here that says it took them 9 months or whatever to finish it, I suspect that means that it took them 9 months to finish the carving, to like scaffold this thing and then carve all of these glyphs into it. My opinion. So.
Yeah, it also doesn't show the tool marks. I mean, what the tool marks that it shows are similar to the ones we see that are like flattening the wall at the Osirian, or
Yeah.
the really fine sort of stripe sections about this wide inside the boxes.
Yeah.
It's something else. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
I really like this shot over here on the other side with the sun.
Oh, yeah, let's take this.
Just kind of give you an idea of how fine they worked these corners, how straight. Like you get this shot of the face, and then you, right where it basically zeroes out to the corner. It's just amazing, like how accurate it is all the way across the whole length of the thing.
Wow. Yeah, this thing's cool. I mean, this would be a challenge in any age, I think.
Absolutely.
It's insane. And there's a whole forest of these things here at Tanis. I mean, so many obelisks. They did so many of these. It's quite remarkable. I think that's where that scale man is over there too. Yeah. So then you have you have all this granite work around here, and then you have down here, it looks like there's no one in there, we should go and take a look. You have the granite, the holiest of holies, the centerpiece, the focal point for the whole structure, in amongst all this granite architecture. You have a whole granite building. I mean, a lot of this is granite. Both of these are granite. All the walls behind it are granite. We just start to get into this massive granite space, and then this whole center thing is actually a granite building with blocks the size you typically see in things like the Valley Temple and Old Kingdom. Like, look at the size of this. Like, this is, hopefully the phone doesn't drop out in here, but we'll see. Like monstrous big blocks like this, which typically you sort of see in places like the Valley Temple. This is very reminiscent of architecture that they attribute to the Old Kingdom. Huge blocks of granite. And it's all built around, yet again, another box. This is, you actually can see the lid on this box, right? So the lid spans from down here to the top, and you can actually see where it's cracked off, and there is a cavity in the box. But they don't even call this a box, they call it an offering table. It's just full of shit.
Full of sand.
It's full of sediment and sand, yeah.
But that's actually the lip of the lid going down in, you know?
It is inset into it, yeah.
You can't slide it off.
But they don't actually, I mean, even in the Orthodox story, they just call it an offering table for the flat surface on top, but they just don't really acknowledge that it's a box, but that's what it is.
Is this calcite? I mean, quartzite?
Quartzite?
Yeah.
Could be.
See the
straight, yeah,
it looks like
the
quartzite.
pickling, it does look like a lot of quartz in it. Like, it does look like shiny like quartz. I don't know if granite. So yeah.
Yeah, why choose a completely different stone type just for this
Yeah, in the
little
center.
chapel?
Well, sound, this is, it's resonant.
Yeah, it could be.
It's definitely resonant in here. You never know. I mean, and actually, let's have a look at the ceiling here. I mean, look at this. This is like the King's Chamber almost. You have these big, what were original massive granite beams that spanned this thing. And they carved it with the stars too. See the stars up there? That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the whole floor, see these are flattened away and then they all come out at the floor, almost like.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I don't know if this is I don't think
probably not original.
This is not original, so it's
that's what I'm
lower
saying.
than the floor level.
If it was granite, like the way they would do at, like at Minkara, the wall comes down and then it curves out and meets the floor. They finish the floor in the same method.
Like the Assyrian too.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. So, someone's trying to quarry this thing for some reason. Good luck. So, yeah, one of my favourite little bits over here. And we'll show you also, we'll walk over and I'll show you some evidence for the, not only is there a granite temple that's been rebuilt several times, it's actually been built on top of what was probably a whole granite hallway. That Hypostyle Hall was likely all granite columns at some point. And you can see some evidence for that. But this is one of my favourite little features on this site that I always like to show people. It's a friggin' 9-10 inch tube drill. Just a monstrous thing. So with the tube drills too, you often see half a hole. Like they're not going for half a hole. They want the whole hole, but there's blocks been quarried. So they will. I think the quarriers were looking for these because obviously you have a cut in the stone like this. It weakens the stone, so they would quarry the stone from the back along the axis of the tube drill hole, and they try to split the block along the axis, and they were successful here. So they split this piece off, and it leaves us with half a hole. What happened to the other half, I don't know. But some interesting features here with the lip. So this little indent lip here and here, so you get an indication for just how thin the tooltip was. That was the tubular drill, and then what it does is it leaves this column of rock in here, this plug or this core of the stone, and then you have to get a chisel in and somehow snap it off, and you can see how it's been snapped off. And then assuming this was a full hole, I don't know how they carved this groove and this inset. This would have been really challenging to do. But I think it's pretty obviously like some sort of
To lock something
in that rotates here, and it like clunk locks in like a door position. So this could have been a ceiling block or a hinge point for a massive door. I honestly don't know how you snap off this bollard. Like, it's like a bollard. It's like a tank stopper, you know, those fucking things that stick up out of the ground. How do you snap off a granite plug that thick? Couldn't tell you. Yeah. And this is so we're here with the early group. On our tour, we have, what, 63 or something with us? 62. And we like to give these opportunities if, you know, these temples open early at 6. So we had probably half the group come with us this morning, and then the other group's going to show up at 8:30, and we'll go back to guiding then. But yeah, I'm going to stream for another half hour or so. I want to show you a couple more things, my favorite features at Karnak, and this is one of them. So again, we're standing, there's the obelisk, there's the Hypostyle Hall behind this wall, and you can see the remnants of these same sandstone columns here. But what's interesting is when they pulled up the floor here, where these column bases are, what did they find? They found a deeper layer of column bases. So this is a calcite column base too. Like you find calcite column bases already being recycled in the Old Kingdom. The tomb of Ra-Wer, who was a 5th dynasty priest who took over after Menkaure. Actually, he finished Menkaure's pyramid. Well, that's what they say. But Ra-Wer is a 5th dynasty like vizier, an important official, and he was repurposing calcite column bases just like this into offering tables. So you can see here there's a deeper layer of you know, a columned hall, a whole deeper layer of infrastructure that was covered up, and man, it fell down, it was repaired, and then they moved the floor, and then they put their other columns and column bases onto it. And you can actually see there's another one, white calcite column base over there. So what it tells you is that there was something here. I mean, the literal writings at this temple go back to the Old Kingdom, just from the dynastic perspective. But for sure, you see evidence of basically renovation and rebuilding multiple phases of it. So this is white calcite, quite often associated with granite.
This is the other obelisk.
So this is another obelisk here. Yeah.
That would have been the twin of that other one, I would suppose.
Yeah, giant, huh?
Yeah. Look at the base. It's just that thing alone.
Yeah.
It's like
look at this slab of granite.
the other thing to prepare the foundation for this, that it could stand for that long without falling over.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd have to dig down all the way to the bedrock, build back up, and then put the base in to make sure it didn't settle.
Yeah, craziness. Bro, it's a natural rock formation. Yeah, that's what it is. YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Insightful as ever.
Yeah, these rocks, I agree, are all natural formations.
They are natural rocks, yes. Just quarried and moved here.
Yeah.
And shaped.
Yes.
Tempted to run over to the giant fist.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe
we could pass the entryway, too.
The huge tube drill, if they let us go that way. I think it's at the back here.
They'll let us go, right? We got Mo.
We got Mo. Yeah, we'll see.
Dude, look, this is nuts. Nuts.
It's a nut. It's a nut. But yeah, if you ever get the chance to come here early in the morning, you should do it. Should go back around and out there. So yeah, again, this is almost like these shrines. Like this is literally a bullnose. It's carved. Look at this bullnose that's carved into this thing.
Yeah.
Like it's. I mean, again, you have to flatten the wall down to the level with the bullnose, and this is like the shrines on Elephantine Island. And I'll say this because a lot of people associate this bullnose feature with like New Kingdom architecture, but as I talked about in my Abu Sir video, when they dug up the new area at Abu Sir, you see exactly the same thing. You see those bullnoses on architecture attributed to the Old Kingdom. So it's not like it was something invented in the New Kingdom.
You can tell though that the spirit of the style of building, the construction methods, even though they were using sandstone in much later times, like the spirit of it passed along. They were learning from more ancient builders as they dug around. Just the way they dealt with the sandstone.
Yeah. I mean, I see pretty obvious. I mean, it's learning, it's imitation as well, it's reverence, it's respect. Although then you get guys that just put their name on shit.
Yeah.
Your ground penetrating radar readings of the whole site? Yes, I would too. I think if they could do that, it would be wonderful. I don't know if they've done any GPR stuff here or not. This is the resonating obelisk. It used to, you could ring it like a bell. That used to be laying down over here, but now they stood it up. But if you slap this thing on the end, where it would ring like a bell. It was here, yeah. It was over here, and that's the sacred lake at Karnak. The water. This is the scarab. 9 times?
9 times.
Which direction? Clock this way?
Yeah.
So clockwise, if you go 9 times around this, clockwise apparently, you'll get pregnant. Yeah, she was skipping around it. Yeah. It's a scarab. I'm going to walk over to like what I think is another indication of probably the granite nature of the original temple, which is
This
really
is Mo's
super
favorite
impressive.
spot.
Mo's favorite spot, mine, and where we will be there soon. The cafeteria, yes. The magic lake, yep. Take a dip.
Magic with this statues, still the Egyptian believe it, that they came here. She want to be pregnant. Because after all this kind of technology that we have, that we still believe it.
Yeah, you get IVF or you get the scarab, you know. So it's cool here. I mean, you can see the remnants of these massive pylons. All sandstone, right? All rebuilt. And they're constructing them back together again, and you have the granite core. But what's really interesting is what's right down the end here at the edge of the temple, which I believe is an original structure, still standing. These sandstone columns, I think it's all rebuilding from the, this way or that way, this way? Yeah, all rebuilding from the New Kingdom time.
Let's see if he can work his magic just over there.
Yeah. So these were obelisks. So this is an obelisk. That's an obelisk. These were giant statues. Just the feet, the head jet left. This is interesting. This is literally a statue carved from dolerite. It's like what pounded the pounder, you know?
What?
Hey? Yeah, I mean, it's super hard stone. It's like an 8 on the Mo scale. It's freaking amazing.
I gotta touch those toes.
Touch the pinkies. Touch
Man.
the toes. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's the polish on this is remarkable. Like, and this is one of the hardest. I mean, it's literally dolerite. Like, that's what they say they use to pound out granite. Harder than granite.
Wow. All right.
Habibi.
Grease the skids. Let's go.
So yeah, they've been repairing statues here. We're getting out into like the area we call the boneyard, which is like just these fragments of these massive statues that were here, and all these other things. Like you can clearly see
Quartzite. That one's alabaster. I think this one.
Quartzite, alabaster, 2 of them.
And this one here.
And this one here is probably alabaster as
Look
well.
at this stele. Holy crap. That thing's huge.
Marduk, Pyramid War. Okay. They're invoking Marduk in the chat. Don't summon anything on us, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
please.
Yeah. They need that right now.
I haven't been able to figure out if Marduk is a good guy or a bad guy yet.
Yeah.
It's interesting too, these unfinished portions down at the base. Like clearly they were working this upper surface.
Yeah. Yeah, and what this here is not like at
Yeah.
the bottom, you mean? Yeah, they weren't. They never quite got around to
Maybe that
flattening
was,
everything.
I wonder if that was like a floor level.
It could have been, yeah. This
At
could have
one
all been a
point.
floor level, yeah. So does this point towards Luxor?
Yeah.
Second one.
Yeah.
The second one,
Not the left side.
but to this way.
Yeah, this way.
Yeah, so,
When we go a little bit walking, yes, fine. And then it's
yeah.
So yeah, one of the things I love about this connection between Karnak and Luxor and this whole, the avenue of the Sphinxes all the way down between them. How far apart is it?
3 kilometers.
3 kilometers?
3+ kilometers, I think, yeah.
So there's just straight shot between these two temples. And then there's this tradition of carrying this boat from one temple to the other. And it's like, I like to think of it as like the temple representing one civilization,
Yeah.
another temple representing the next civilization, right? And it's like a ritual that sort of memorializes this civilization coming from the old world into the new. So they're bringing it by boat, just like this whole procession moving from one temple to the next.
I'm not saying
I love that idea.
I want to talk about our president that we have now. Sisi is the best one ever because the president before Mubarak, they talk about that, open it between Karnak and Luxor, 26 years that he have that plan. Sisi, what we have, he just like that, 3 months.
3 months. rolls
Break
and
the
sliz
houses,
out, everybody.
Clear it, give the people money, make what we have now. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank him so much, really. I appreciate it.
yeah.
Awesome.
So this, you can see some
That's-
of the giant statues that were here. This is a head jet. So this is like the crown of one of these statues you just left here. So you get the scale. Massive statues over here. This is, I think, part of a shoulder. This here is, I think, yeah, definitely like a rounded part of a shoulder. So you know there's some gigantic statues here, and we'll see some evidence for more of that. Probably the best evidence of another giant, 1,000-ton statue. But what's impressive here is, so again, we see sandstone, 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 the granite halls, and it's all sandstone in the center, but right out here at the edge is like an indication of what might be, what the original structure was probably like in the very ancient times, because this whole archway is all granite. The whole thing's granite. Look at those beams on top that span this thing. But this is all granite blocks. Still
The
standing.
fact that they're shifted out like that too, is
Yeah,
just like, oh
what
my
the
God.
fuck? How did that happen?
It'd be
Yeah.
an earthquake. These are huge.
These are monstrous bloody granite blocks. Look at the size of this. So I'm 6 foot tall. So this is basically 6 foot tall, and I don't know how deep it goes block,
yeah.
and it runs all the way down. Well, it runs to here, and these are big blocks of granite.
Yeah, this one, just this corner piece. Is,
Yeah, this corner piece yeah. So they built this whole thing, I mean, they filled it in with some brickwork here, but this is all, I mean, all these blocks here are granite, on both sides of granite. And when we, first time we came here, what we found up there, and it's, I wish I could zoom on this, I mean, I can, but the YouTube app won't let me. Right up there, that is a massive round hole. Probably, I mean, it's got to be a tube drill. Probably the hinge point for what was a giant set of doors. But that thing's like, I don't know, a foot, 2 feet, somewhere between 1 and 2 feet wide. Probably the biggest tube drill I've ever seen in Egypt. And again, I don't know how you snap that core out. I don't know how you cut that hole in with any method, really.
This opening right here is like the door pocket.
Yeah,
so when the doors swing open, like they go and
yeah, so this is the door. Yeah, it's the door pocket, right? Yeah, you're right. So it swings open into that socket.
So it's flush against the wall there.
And you get the same thing on both sides.
And can you imagine? Like I just, God, just once I just want to go through.
Seriously, just bust out through here. I mean, that has to have been like the most gigantic fucking set of doors you've ever seen on this granite pylon, this granite archway.
Made of the cedars of Lebanon or something.
Could be, I mean, it could be wooden, yeah. And my feeling is that with all these statues and stuff, I think there was probably a lot more of this was granite. It was fallen down and in ruins, and then eventually it was all rebuilt by, you know, guys like Ramses, although we also have evidence for architecture and buildings that happened in the Middle Kingdom. We've got names and records of visits coming here in the, you know, the Old Kingdom. I mean, a lot of these temples that are even attributed to the Ptolemaic age, the late period, like Edfu, you literally have records of guys like Joseph from the 3rd dynasty talking about making pilgrimages to Edfu to make offerings, you know. So there was structures, these structures were here in the oldest times. They just were rebuilt a lot in the New Kingdom, and they get attributed to the New Kingdom, but their roots go further back.
And typically, I mean, even before the first major structure was built, there was something that was going on there.
Yeah.
Right? Like it goes far back into prehistory.
Yeah.
The reverence for these particular sites. They find, you know, flake stone tools and stuff like that.
Yeah. 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 I love this. Actually, I like coming here early in the morning.
Oh,
it's
it's
so
nice,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
Normally I'm sweating real bad right here.
Give it time. But yeah, it's a monster. I mean, this is, I believe it's the largest ancient temple complex in the world. I mean, it's just acres and acres. You get, and it's just thick with evidence and stonework from different periods.
There's a place over there when you, oh, look at this, look. Let's just take a quick
detour.
Yeah.
1 sec, Mo.
Look at this midden.
Oh, the midden. Yeah.
I mean, it's just loaded.
Oh, dude, it's pottery. Yeah, look at this.
Yeah.
The midden layers, you can literally see this is all this is pottery. Like, this is shards of pottery. Like, this is.
Yeah, they haven't.
This is like thousands of years old.
They haven't even begun to scratch the surface down here, right? Like, what is? Who knows what could be found in this? You can see when you cross the bridge over there when you first come along. There's like 8 foot solid midden.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about the audio. It is what it is. I'm using the mics. It's just I'll fix it for the next time, but I'll try and boost it up after. But turn your shit up, I guess. Sorry. I know there's a setting on these damn newer CM28s to like.
Let me look it up.
There's a boost. There's probably 2. I mean, I can try 4 dB. I mean, dB. Is this it here?
Yeah.
Press that.
Yeah. Did it get
Did
quieter or
did
louder?
that change? Yeah, did it get quieter or louder? Okay.
Check.
A lot of people saying it's fine.
Yeah.
Audio is good. Okay, thank you. Let's just. Can't please everybody. Doing my best, dude.
Yeah.
Mobile on the other side of the world. Very tech dependent at this point.
That way.
Yeah, that way.
You gonna walk around or just?
Let me go this way, yeah?
This is again. If you want to look.
No, I want to go to the fist, yeah.
The fist of the first
fist.
men.
Yes, the fist of the first men. That's right. By the way, cool tree.
Yeah, I love this tree.
Just fucking sweet tree. I like this tree. Been here a lot.
I believe it's very old.
Yeah. I believe it too.
Because I see similar. They talk about the ancient states, 1,200 years.
1,200 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first states. And then similar.
Yeah. I mean, there's that tree at Hatshepsut, right? So this is why they call it the boneyard. Like just, well, we call it the boneyard. Massive. Oh, they've got most of the arm together again. Not really. They got it's down there. They had the arm together at one point, but this is impressive. Like this. I know you've probably seen it if you've seen some of my videos, but this doesn't get old.
See the baby first?
The what?
See his son first?
The baby first? Where's the baby? Mate says this is the baby of this statue. I've not been over here. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, there's another fist. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. It's a fist, yeah. What's this made of? Quartzite.
Yep.
Let me pour a bit of water on it.
I got you.
Thanks, bro. I need to take a drink too. Oh yeah. See the flint? Like it's that composite quartzite. It's got little, this is flint nodules, yes? These little things
I
like
don't
that.
know, that might be quartz.
Could be quartz.
Maybe a quartz chunk. But yeah, there
Still-
are flint nodules in it for sure.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I haven't seen this before. We're gonna have to take some pictures of this at some point here.
Oh, look, here's the scroll.
Yeah, here's the tip of the scroll. Yeah. Not inscribed, like not,
Yeah, it doesn't have this.
no cartouche. So this is the thing they hold in the hand. Oh, listen to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no inscription, no cartouche. So again, like the belt line, this one didn't get cartouched. Gadooshed.
Dang. That is,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
So all these fragments of quartzite are probably all pieces of these statues. There must have been a bunch of, this is why I say there's multiple of these.
Look at this. The archaeologists have these like all sectioned off and
Yeah, trying to put it back together.
numbers on them and stuff.
Oh yeah, they've been working
God.
hard, huh? Yeah, this is
What
the
a
real
job.
archaeology.
Yeah.
And then let's look at the main attraction over here, the main event. One of the most impressive pieces is this bad boy. Salam alaikum, Habibi. Good to see you again. Giant thumb fist hand.
So who's this?
Who do you think?
Ramses II?
Uh-huh. I believe so, yeah. Ramses II here. I actually might be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so
I
this
know
is
he has a feather.
Has the feather, has the crown. He always has the dude sitting on the crown too, so I'm not sure. But he has
the guy. Yeah, he has the guy.
He has the
sitting.
guy. And there's the birth name and then there's the king name. So yeah, what's interesting is like the difference here, like this is what's amazing. So first of all, composite quartzite, insane stone, like difficult to work. You can see the chunks of flint in it. This is like literally a flint nodule here, and you see it all over this stuff. I mean, what does Yusuf call this? A stone carver's nightmare?
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the fact of where the stone came from is also really impressive. There's my thumbnail, dirty as it is, and his thumbnail, so scale up for that. But the stone came from the Red Mountain, north of Cairo. So we're what, 600 miles, 600 kilometers from Cairo?
Yep.
Yeah. And you had to bring a 1,500 ton block of this stuff that was quarried and bring it upriver, because remember, the Cairo's in the north, we're in the south, the Nile flows to the north, so you're bringing it from north to south, so against the current of the river, and bring it to here to to Karnak, and there's multiple of these. It looks like we just saw another one over there. So it did this a lot, and you can see the fine details on the cuticle and the fine. This is all polished. It's really smooth, and the fine details of carving in the polish and in the cuticles, and then you compare it to, like, all right, on the scroll he's holding, this is rough, like smooth, and then everything inside here that's been hammered is rough.
And this is what you would expect from a hammering job, because if you look over here, this is the composition, right? It's composite quartzite. It's all these tiny little quartz grains, pebbles of different sizes, and then flint flakes and all that stuff. So if you start hammering, you're going to be knocking these loose. It's going to be hard to get a real smooth
finish like this.
I
don't know how they do it.
So this is kind of what you would expect, is sort of rough
For hammering.
from hammering,
And I just want to address the thing that some people say about this too, is like, well, you know, this was the scribes did this. No, they don't. Like, you can be great at say you're great at calligraphy. Try and carve calligraphy into stone. It's an entirely different tool set. And we have evidence of how the dynastic Egyptians carved hieroglyphs and did their paintings. The scribe would have come along and painted this, and it would have been touched up and made sure it was painted so it was where they wanted it. And then you have the stone carver comes to carve it using, you know, he's the expert at carving the stone. He follows the lines, but presumably uses the same tools that were used to cut. If it was all done at the same time, the stone carvers had access to the same tools, right? Same techniques, but we see a massive difference between the finish of this and the finish of this.
Yeah, and just like you were saying, these are the flint nodules, like that one.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just smooth.
Yeah, it's carved right over it.
You can see this one's busted up.
A little bit.
The flint has internal fractures,
Yeah.
but it's still smooth.
Smooth on top,
Worked
from
just
where it's
right
been
on the
worked into the
surface.
surface.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a serious, I don't know. And here's the other thing about this particular statue. So the one at the Ramesseum is a seated statue. Lots of them were seated statues, but one year I came here, they actually had this all assembled. Now they moved it apart, so it's not quite in the same space. But this is the arm. So this is the shoulder and upper arm.
When they build it,
And
from here to that.
Oh yeah.
so you can see the rounded muscling on the shoulder here and the size of this statue. But when they put this together, the one thing they knew was that this was a standing statue. So the seated statues, they're like, hang on, scroll down. So they're like this, like this, with their fists on their knees. And then the standing statues were standing with their arms down by their side, and they're holding that thing out there. So this was a straight arm, and it would have been a standing statue. So
Mo's saying that they moved this calcite from Cairo.
quartzite.
Quartzite.
Yeah,
From
it's-
Cairo to here. So it's not only were they moving
Because all
the
of a
granite from Aswan down.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah,
Oh, okay, he was saying that.
It's the Red Mountain, yeah, north of Cairo, and that's upriver, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So if you're using the river, you got to paddle that shit.
I would say, just on the old geopolymer debate, like, they were obviously able to work this flat. You know what I mean? Like this, it'd be hard to say, well, you poured a flat, you poured a mold and the flint nodule came out flat
Yeah, no.
on this one side. No,
Yeah, it's ground down, definitely.
cut that. Look at all of it in there.
I think the logistics involved in moving 1,000 tons of, like, let's call it 1,200 tons of the raw of the block before it was finished, upriver, 600 miles, and crafting a single piece statue that stood probably 100 feet tall with perfectly smoothed over, like, composite quartzite, which is not a material anyone would choose. And I guess they just tried really hard. I don't know, the people that think this is nonsense is just, I don't think you understand
Why did you
logic.
pick that rock?
Yeah.
His
Anyway.
job.
Anyway, that's
But he
just-
was
that's
right. I
YouTube
mean,
chat
this
for
is
you.
a load of rubbish to some people.
This is really a load of rubbish for some people.
Yeah, but if the rubbish do you have it actually would be, I mean, you're a rich country,
Yeah.
you know?
It would, yeah, if you have this rubbish, you would be a rich country. Yeah, this is, people will come from far and wide to see the rubbish.
See that one, you know?
One man's trash is another
Man's
man's treasure.
But
Well, this is my treasure. So.
But imagine his arm, that taller, that statue's how much taller?
I mean, it's Statue of Liberty sized essentially. Like if you look at the foot that's at Tanis has that big giant foot.
Yeah.
So the foot is roughly the same size as the foot of the Statue of Liberty. So about that high, like where she stands. So big. Like this is probably 100 feet, 30 meters. I'd say this was probably a good 30 meters standing, at least 30 meters standing tall. Maybe, yeah.
If the shoulder a little shorter, give you like 30 meter, and then still you have the rest from here and the head from there.
Head with a crown, yeah. Could have been taller with the crown, right? Yeah. I don't know. It's impressive.
At least 80.
80 meters.
At least.
I don't know if it's 80, bro, but it's. I would love that. I would love to think that.
I have words. His fucking leg, you know.
I love Mo. Well, so listen, this is a rumor that I heard. So if you go over to the Colossi of Memnon and the Ramesseum, there's a big temple structure in between them that they've been excavating for the last few years, the temple of Amenhotep III, I believe. And I heard a story that they found a fist or a hand that's even bigger than any of the stuff we've seen here. And that they just covered it up with a tarp because they just didn't want people asking questions about how big do these things get. So I did hear a rumor. I don't know if it's true. I'd love to find out at some point that there was potentially even bigger statues. But what you find here is, in this part, you have evidence for like 4 or 5 of these massive 1,000-ton statues, and every single one of them is an insane achievement. I don't know how else to explain it. You have one of them in Tanis. It's made from granite. It's in the Delta. You're talking 1,000 kilometers from Aswan. They moved a 1,200-ton block, more than 1,000 kilometers. The one at the Ramesseum is quartzite. It's over 1,000 tons. It was moved 300 kilometers. You have the Colossi of Memnon. They're 600 tons each, 700. They're made from composite quartzite like this. They were moved from the Red Mountain, 600 kilometers. This statue is probably easily 1,000 tons, and it was moved 600-700 kilometers upriver. Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. I don't think you can use. I don't care if you think it was the result of primitive or advanced technology. I don't know how you explain it with primitive technology, but it's impressive, right? So.
Did you want to go in this? He says this temple inside is pretty complete and beautiful colors.
I think we can wrap this up here, actually. So this is the belt line.
In that one.
Yeah, this is the sword and the belt line. So what the bigger version of the.
And again, this hieroglyph carving here is kind of rough.
Kind of rough compared to the rest, yeah. So this is up to the top, so it was down. That's his skirt or his kilt, the pleating of his shorts. That you were saying the dude's shorts. His shorts. And all these other fragments of the pleating on the shorts or the dress or whatever. So. No, don't stop. Okay.
Wow, that is precariously balanced there.
Yeah, it is, huh?
Ugh.
This is the other hand, yeah?
Yeah.
There's
Ramses II.
Yeah, that is Ramses II. So it's probably his coronation name and his birth name on each. Yeah, I recognise I guess the coronation name.
Yeah, this is the seated guy.
Yeah, with the feather next to it and whatever.
And in the Ankh.
Yep. Yeah, it's cool. How do they not put these back together? It's a good question. They did have at one point. I have pictures of it here. 1 year, it's literally 6-month period where they had this arm and the hand all back together, and you could see the length of the arm. They had even more pieces in it, and it was super impressive. But I don't know why they took it apart again. But they just didn't want people looking at it and going, "Holy shit, how big was this thing?" Yeah. But yeah, this is Karnak. Let's see. Anyhow, I think it's a big bug. See me do my dance. I think I'm going to wrap it up there for the live stream. I'm going to get back to guiding with the group. Probably going to have a coffee first. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will try and tweak the audio afterwards. But yeah, if you're watching this on replay, I hope you enjoyed it. It's a look at Karnak Temple. Just walking and talking with everyone. Thank you, Kyle.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And we'll
Cheers, everyone.
Do it on your stream next time. So yeah, you guys take it easy, and I will catch you in the next one.